Good afternoon. How are we doing? It is so good to see you all again. Welcome back to the 253 Exam Study Challenge. My name is Nikita Borton. I am a master level educational diagnostician with 12 to 13 years experience ranging from pre-K to 12th grade. I am passionate about this work that we do as educational diagnosticians. I believe it's the best work we will ever do on this side of heaven. I believe that all children with disabilities deserve equal and equitable opportunities in education. I believe that parents of children with learning disabilities deserve dignity and respect. And I believe that diagnosticians make the world go around. We get to go to work every day advocating for children and making decisions that are right for children. So, again, my name is Nikita Borton. I'm the owner, founder of the Borton Institute. We are a high end professional development firm offering high value training opportunities for educational diagnosticians with 0 to 100 years of experience looking to execute at a mastery level. We are live on Facebook, on Instagram, and YouTube. We're new to YouTube. Super excited about that to bring you content there to the YouTube family. The Borton Institute, again, that handle is the Borton Institute on all three social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So be sure to follow and like our pages for updates on valuable study content for educational diagnostician students and for continued professional development opportunities for certified educational diagnosticians. So, today is day 4 of the 253 exam study challenge. For those of you who are new to us, we have started this challenge on Monday. This is day 4 of our study challenge. We're studying together, doing a 28-day study challenge surrounding the exam 253 for educational diagnostician certification. And this challenge is designed to motivate you to study the exact content that you need to walk in confident on test day. I want to help you tackle the 253 exam in a way that is structured, thorough, and not overwhelming. I want to alleviate your worry about what to study and how to study. And I want to give you the content that you need to rock the 253 exam and focus on passing. All right. So I want to check in. Let's see who we have on today. And as usual, I like to start off with checking in, checking on your mental health. I would like to know how you're feeling about domain 1 now. Are you feeling more confident? We started with domain 1 on Monday. We've looked at competency 1, competency 2, competency 3, all of which make up domain 1. 36% of the entire 253 exam has to do with competencies 1, 2, and 3. So we've hit that hard this week. So friends that are watching, put in the chat, let me know, are you more confident? Are you feeling a little more confident about domain 1 and exam questions that have to do with domain 1? Yes or no? Stick it in the chat. Let us know how you're feeling. Rosie, yay, Rosie. Good deal. Feeling a lot better. Good. Good, good, good. And you're taking this challenge by the horns, Rosie. Rock it out. I can't wait to hear about how you do on the exam. Who else is on watching with us? How are you feeling about domain 1 questions now? Are you feeling more confident? Shalise, yes, feeling much better. Great, Shalise. I love it. I love it. Domain 1, 36% of the exam. It's huge. That's why I like to spend the bulk of our time there together. Good deal. Awesome. Glad you guys are feeling so much better about Domain 1 content. Today, we are going to focus on hitting competency 2 again. Okay. This competency 2, descriptive statement D specifically. I want us to really, with a fine tooth comb, get a full and thorough understanding of what's happening in this competency 2 descriptive statement D. Now, what you're going to see is some overlap between competency 2 and competency 3. And this is one of those that do a little bit of overlap. So again, this is one of the first times we're seeing this word ability in the descriptive statement. Okay, so demonstrate the ability to choose relevant and appropriate assessment. That's a big deal, to be able to make assessment selections, well, based on what? Well, technical qualities of the instrument, the referral question, what is the suspected disability? What are we looking for? Appropriate test selection based on the data that you need. What G's do you need? What narrow abilities do you need? What are we looking for? And then based on the individual student, what are the student's needs? What are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? And how will that inform your assessment selection? And also demonstrate the knowledge to be equitable, of course, and to be fair in our assessment results. Okay, so to emphasize this descriptive statement D, I'm going to play a video for you that of me doing a breakdown of this descriptive statement D. This video can actually be found on the website, and it's still available to purchase. We're only going to play a portion of the exam. A portion of the video. The first part of this video is where I'm doing a very thorough breakdown of the technicality of the technical aspects of the instruments, referral questions. We're just talking. It's really good, robust conversation about these considerations. But the part that I want us to focus on together today is the second part of this video, where we really get into the details of how the assessment batteries compare to one another. We're going to look at WJ. We're going to look at the Wechsler test battery, and we're going to look at the Kaufman test battery. Now, this video is from 2 years, about 2.5 years ago. So you're going to hear a little bit of information that's dated, but that's okay. When that information comes up in the video, I'll just type in the chat and we can wrap back around and talk about it. But I really want you to hear in context how we select test assessments based on these considerations that you find in this competency. It is a big deal. So I really want to drive that home. So today I want to drive it home with a clip of a video. The clip probably a good 10, 11 minutes. And let me show you the study guide that you got in your email today. And if you didn't get an email, let me know. I tried to make sure that I caught everybody this time. Here's what your study guide looks like. Study guide challenge. In this video, I'm going to be talking about the assessment battery comparison chart. I attached this to your email. Okay. For some reason, if you don't get it, here's a link to it if you need it for further future reference. Okay. And remember, it is from 2.5 years ago. So I need to go through and update just a few things, but I can resend it out. But just for your reference, as far as today is concerned, you have the link there. Okay. Here is the link to purchase. The rest of this video, if you want to see it in entirety, if you have difficulty or you struggle with competency too, if you struggle with assessment and knowing different assessments, knowing what it measures, knowing what the subtest measures, knowing what kids it's the best fit for, this is the video for you. Okay, this is definitely the video for you. As you listen to the video, you will hear the breakdown on how we're taking this, literally lifting it out of descriptive statement D, and we're using it to discuss and review and talk about what WJ is good for. And then the same thing for the WISC, and then the same thing for the KABC. Okay, so I want you to be, and this is just a note sheet for you. You can type into it, you can write on it, whatever you need to do in order to get you in a habit and to build the ability to be able to take these considerations and use them to make a selection of a test kit. That's what we're doing today. All right. I want you to be at practice and really starting to wrap your mind around this content. So when you're sitting on test day, you have a frame of reference. Really, really important. Okay. I highlighted, or I made this red on your study guide because WISC 4. WISC 4 is now out. You'll hear us talking about 3, but I put that red there in your study guide to draw your attention to the fact that now there is a WISC 4 out. A WISC 4 that's out. And I love it. I love administering the WISC 4. Okay. And here, I'll show you the, sorry. I'll show you the chart if I can get to it. Yeah. Here it is. This is the assessment battery chart that you have. And once you get in the field, you can kind of build this on your own if you want to. But I was thinking that I wanted to go through and add more current assessment, but also add adaptive behavior assessments. There's other cognitive assessments that are not on here. And this is a highly requested tool whenever I work with diagnostician students, because they're trying to get an understanding of what assessments are out there, what do they test, when do I use them, and this would be a quick, super quick cheat sheet that people can use in the field. So I'll probably work on expanding this and making it more of a tool. But this is it. And you can just scroll across the bottom. And this is what we'll be talking about pretty thoroughly in the video today. Okay. All right. So I'm going to press the video. I'm going to already be in the middle of a sentence in the video, but you'll be able to pick right up and catch along. It won't be a problem. And then I'll be back with you and we're going to discuss what we learned in the video today. Take copious notes. You will need them for your studying tonight. Okay. All right. Be back with you soon.
Assessment batteries, when to use it, when not to use it. So I finally sat down and made one. Now remember, y'all, this chart is according to Nikita, my experiences and the districts that I've been in and the populations that I've been with. So please remember that this is depending on where you are, up north, East Texas, West Texas, the interpretation of these things may be different for, the people around you, the assessors around you, things like that. So make sure you look at it with an open mind. Don't take this. This is not law, not necessarily law, not necessarily Bible. It's just a tool to help you to start to look at the differences of different assessment batteries. Okay. So make sure you view it in that light. So we'll take a look at it and you have the link to this. So over here are the considerations. So these considerations right here in this column come directly out of descriptive statement D that we just went through in competency 2. These are the things that you have to be able to apply when you're picking whether to use what assessment batteries to use. Am I making sense there? So these are the considerations we just talked about. And up here are the assessment batteries. So I did the WJ battery. I did the Westler batteries here, the WISC and the Wyatt, and I did the Kaufman. These three are the most common, I would say, I think even across Texas, I would dare say that. The most common COG achievement batteries that are used when assessing children. Not the only, but I will say the most common. So that's why I went ahead and went with these three. I was going to throw in adaptive behavior and CTOP, but you will get to all that. I just wanted to give you just a baseline one-on-one glance on some of the assessment batteries, okay? So let's start with WJ. We have WJ, we have WJ, the cognitive, and the WJ achievement, all right? So referral questions. So when I say referral questions, it really means what disability areas can you test with this instrument? Okay, so the WJ can be used for lots of things, but the most common that we see for is either ID or SLD. All right, same thing here. With the WJ achievement, people are usually looking for some kind of learning disability, achievement wise, or present levels. Where are you? We're trying to get an understanding of where you are, benchmarking kind of data situation. Okay, now age. Both of these, the WJ period is from 2 years old to 90 years old. So this is why, again, WJ is one of the most common because you can use it no matter what level you're at. It applies 2 to 90. So people usually do it. And here's the data needed, the criteria measured. This is what is measured by this test. On this WJ cog, they measure all 7 of the G's. This is another reason that people choose to go with the WJ. It's so comprehensive. Everything I need to know about a G is in this one-stop shop. So people do that a lot. And here are the here are the achievement areas that the WJ attests. Now notice basic reading, reading fluency, math, problem solving, written expression, and more. So again, super comprehensive. Okay, and all this is on the chart. Are you able to see this chart on your end? I gave you the link to the chart. So if you look, let me look. If you look on your study guide, we did the technical qualities. We talked through all of this. Right here, you see where it says assessment battery comparison chart. This link, if you click it, it should take you right to it. Got it? Good. Good. So you can use this whenever you're studying. Okay. So basic reading skills. So all of that is there. Now let's look at some of the technical aspects of the WJ cog. Whenever you get your scores, it's going to come back in standard scores. That matters. Not all batteries report scores the same way. So this comes back as standard scores. It is very language loaded. I'm going to show you what that means. But what it's really saying is that there's so much administrative language that we give to the student that when the student has difficulty in GC, like we just talked about, this battery is not always the best to use. That's why some examiners choose to piece together different COG assessments to get their G's because WJ is so language loaded. Lots, very language rich. Okay, so keep that in mind. There's no manipulatives with this test. And so some people choose not to use this for a pre-K or a kinder assessment because it's not kid friendly. Sit in the chair, pick up your pencil, write right here, get it done. I'm starting a timer, go. It's not necessarily the best capture. Now remember, my experiences is coming out of me, my environment where I've been. So this may be different where you are, but this is common talk, I guess I should say, among assessment professionals. But it is a super comprehensive assessment. I mean, listen, one-stop shop a lot of the times, especially when you're doing a straight ID assessment or a straight LD assessment. you're going to get all the information that you need. So that's a good thing. There is for your linguistic and cultural considerations, because remember, we're always thinking about, is this battery the best capture for children who have various linguistic needs or cultural backgrounds? They have a Spanish version that they can utilize to be assessed with. Bacteria 3, root cause meals. And then, of course, for our SES considerations, it's super language loaded. It means that if your student is not coming with a whole heck of a lot of background knowledge because of lack of exposure and opportunity, then this assessment may not be the best measure for those students. Okay, so that's WJ. All right, let's go on to the next one. I like WISC. I think this is actually one of my favorite ones, the WISC. So the WISC. The WISC has an intelligence scale, the Wechsler intelligence scale, and then the Wechsler achievement battery. So these two go together. They have an intelligence scale and they have an achievement battery. Okay, that they go together. So you have intellectual, the best, let's go back. The referral question that the WISC can answer is ID and SOD. That's usually when people are using this assessment, when they're looking for ID or SOD, typically. And the same thing here for the achievement portion, when they're looking for learning disabilities or they're trying to get some present levels. Now look at the differences in the age here. On the intelligence, you cannot test a 5-year-old 9 months with the WISC. You can't. So you have to pay attention to that. But there are some, so a kindergarten, you can't flat out say, you can't use a WISC on a kindergartner because that's not true. A first semester kindergartner, that's 5'9", you can't use it. But in April, when they turn 6, you can. So you have to pay attention to things like that. Okay. And then look at this though. You can use the Wyatt on a pre-K kid. You just can't use their COG. All right. And I mean down to the months. This is one of the assessments that you are literally scoring by months of 5'7" to 5'9". Then you flip the page and it might be like a 5'10" to 5.11 months. And that's the scale that you use. So you have to be very aware of that. Now, here's what the WJ measures. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They measure 5 of the 7. Now, there is a GLR they just added to the 5. So you possibly can get a measure of GLR from the WISC too. But typically, it's used for these 5 areas of Gs. So you would still, do you know what's missing? What G is not measured by the WISC?
GA.
GA is not there.
GA.
So if you needed a phonological assessment for the 6-year-old, you would have to use a different battery to get the phonological portion. Okay. The Wyatt, the achievement part of the WISC, basic reading, reading comp, reading fluency, written expression, but look at that, mathematics, not necessarily math calc or math problem solving, but they do give you a math fluency and a few other things of academics. All right.
Oh, if I get it right, just to clear up, because I just said it, so I just want to make sure I got it right.
Sure.
Because the WJ has cognitive and achievement, and then the Wechsler has cognitive and achievement.
Exactly. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I used to always get that confused too when I first started. I was like, what? Who has what? You're right. So these batteries that are on this sheet, each one of them have their own COG and their own achievement. Now, another best practice word again, usually you want to assess with the same battery. If you do the COG in one, people choose to use an achievement into that same one, right? Because they're normed and they feed off each other, but it doesn't have to be that way, of course. We can pull from where we need to pull from. That's a great question. All right. So intelligence. All right. So now the WISC compute and composite scores. So you'll have to pay attention to that. This does have some manipulatives whenever you do the testing. It allows for pointing and gestures from the kids. There is less language loaded than the WJ. So it's more ideal to use for kiddos who don't have that huge language skill. It's a shorter assessment as far as time, shorter to give. And it is ideal for ID assessments. Why? This is kind of a hard question. But do you know why people go with this for ID?
Because it's more visual? I don't know.
That's a good guess.
It's more nonverbal.
Oh, I forgot. That's a good point too. See, offers a nonverbal IQ, by the way. That's a great point, Patty. Thank you for bringing that up. This offers a nonverbal IQ. It means that you can get an IQ score for students who don't have language at all, or with very low cognition.
I used it for an ID student.
Mm-hmm.
It has the manipulatives is more visual, and it doesn't take long.
Exactly. It's much shorter to administer. You're right. Let me show you what I'm talking about here. That was kind of a hard question. You see how WJ does 7 G's and the WISC does the 5. Why is this more ideal for ID?
Attention span, maybe.
Because you don't need all 7 G's.
Isn't it just GC that you're really looking for?
All you need is a
GC and academics.
Exactly. All you need is a GIA. So you don't need all 7. We use all 7 Gs when we're looking for learning disability because we need cohesion, cross battery, patterns and weaknesses, all that kind of great thing. But for ID, we just need an intelligence score. So you don't have to make sure you have all 7, right? You need a GA. So people go with this because they don't need all 7. So that's why people tend to go with that one. Well, not tend to go with, but why you can. I'll say it that way. I don't want to speak in specifics.
Have you ever done the entire WISC?
Yeah, the supplementary. Yeah, the supplementaries. Yeah, for sure. It's real efficient. I think the WISC is one of my favorite ones to give, for sure. And I like it because it's less language loaded and a little bit more interactive. It is beneficial for EL assessment as well. There is a WISC version. A Spanish version of the WISC as well. That people and the WISC is on the iPad. Some people are doing WISC on the iPad. I think I'm too old school to use an assessment battery on an iPad. I just can't. But hey, they said it scores for you. You can take notes. It computes your notes on there. It seems pretty fancy. I'm sure it's good. I just haven't made that left in my mind yet. I guess I'll get there eventually.
It does the ceilings and everything for you.
I heard it does the ceilings.
It does everything.
I don't think it's fair, man. I had to sweat over those things 10 years ago. And the bezels and the ceilings were just something for me. But that's kind of cool, though. I do love that. And then, of course, it's beneficial for our low SES as well because it's less language loaded. Now, I will tell you one thing that people do like about the Wyatt is that the Wyatt, their achievement test is a more realistic capture of what a kid does in a classroom on a typical given, assignment. So, for example, the WJ written expression, where they respond to those pictures, write a sentence that shows what's happening and use the word because or something like that, that written expression. It doesn't count off for spelling. They don't have to use punctuation. You're only looking for certain things. But on this Wyatt 3, if you're testing a 4th grader, it's going to require writing. It's going to count off for punctuation. It's going to count off for spelling, things like that. So it's where the WJ writing, they might get a 101 standard score. People are like, oh, it's average, right? But not really, because if you give it on the Wyatt and it does account for spelling, it does account for grammar and punctuation, you're going to see a lower score. So that's why people choose to go with the wider too.
That's another 30 minutes, Nikita.
Jeez. Oh
I'll
my gosh. Okay. I think we can finish by 12, y'all. Sorry. I'm going to try to shoot for 11:30. Let's see if I can get it done by 11:30. All right. So the Kaufman. Now the Kaufman is another battery. I really like it. They have the Kaufman Assessment Battery for Children. This is their call. And then you have a Kaufman Test of Educational Achievement. Of course, is their achievement test. Okay. Again, you can test ID or SLD with this, learning disabilities at present levels. And now look at the ages here. 3 to 18, and then you have 4 to 25. These batteries are the ones that people go to typically for your pre-K assessment, for your kindergarten assessment. It's kid friendly. There's a puppet that you use for one of the phonological assessments. It is definitely preschool, pre-K, kindergarten friendly. So people really choose to go with the Kaufman for the littles, for sure. Now, this Kaufman also offers a nonverbal measure if you need a nonverbal IQ. Composites measure differently by age 7. So there's a different set of tests. You have to pay attention whenever you give the Kaufman. There's only a certain amount of tests you have available for 3s, a certain amount of tests that you have available for 4s, and then a certain amount of tests that you have available for kids that are over the age of 7. So look at your protocol. You need to mark where you're going to start for each of your, each of the age groups of the kids that you do. So you really got to pay attention to that. And then again, 1, 2, 3, 4. This only has 4 of the 7 areas that we typically need to do, which is why Kaufman is often used as a cross battery whenever you need to give additional assessment. Here they have the reading fluency, they have mathematics, they have writing, very highly recommended for dyslexia assessment. Whenever you're talking about learning disability, basic reading skills with the condition of dyslexia, this KTEA, man, these subtests are great for measuring and capturing aspects of dyslexia. So you might give the WJ, you get all 7 Gs, you give the achievement portions, and then when you're looking to add the condition of dyslexia, there may be subtests from the Kaufman that you pull, and you're going to put all that together and see if criteria conditions are met. Okay, this is not the only achievement test for dyslexia. It is the most commonly used.
Nikita.
Okay, that is competency 2 in action, descriptive D, taking considerations and considering them in assessment selection. Okay, so I'm gonna have some questions that I'm going to ask you here, and I want you to answer in the chat. What are pros and cons about the WJ Cog and Achievement Battery? Just what are some pros and some cons about using the WJ Cog and Achievement? All right, pro. It covers all areas needed to assess an age range. Excellent. Yep, it covers all. It's a one-stop shop. Some people love to use it. Pros, test all 7. Right. Cons is it's language heavy, super language loaded, and not always the best fit for some of our babes with low language. Pros of the WJ call can be used to test intellectual, good, disabilities. Excellent, Shalise. Love it. Shara, you get to measure all the G's and they are co-norm. Good, good, good. A con from Rosie is super language loaded. Yep, language loaded. Same thing for Shara. Good, y'all. Good, really, really good. All right. True or false question. The WISC and the KABC have a non-verbal measure. True or false? Non-verbal measure. All right. Courtney saying true. Rosie, Shara, y'all got this. Really good. Excellent. Yes, that is exactly right. They both have a nonverbal measure. And my last question for you today is, which assessment do you prefer to give? Which assessment have you given? Whisk and Wyatt. Excellent. Excellent. WJ, the Whisk or WJ achievement. Good. Shalise, I would say any of the Woodcock Johnson. The Wyatt is harder, but have done it enough. Good, but haven't done it enough. Yeah, it's gonna get easier the more you give it. I've given the WJ4 battery and the Whisk 5. Good. You guys have a great start. Great start. I first like the WJ because that's the one we had a lot of practice on. And that's usually the one they start us out on. Even back in the day when I was doing it, they started us out on the WJ. But then I tried the Whisk and Wyatt, and they are kid friendly. I agree. Big time, Rosie. They are so much more kid friendly for sure. I definitely agree with that. Shara says, I like to practice more with the Whisk and the Wyatt. And you definitely will have an opportunity to do that, Shara, once you're in the field. That's the one that's on the iPad now. I've come around. I'm willing to embrace technology and use the iPad. And it scores for you, and people say all these beautiful things about it. So I think my district may be moving that direction next year. So I look forward to it. Trying something new. All right, y'all. You are now pros on competency too. Now you have a better understanding of assessment selection and how we use those considerations to select the appropriate assessment. So, really important. You are on your way. I love it. And I'm very excited for where you're going. And tomorrow, I am going to invite you up close and personal tomorrow in tomorrow's session. I am going to get super duper vulnerable and take the Pearson practice exam live. I know it's craziness. It's craziness. I'm going to put it all out there. I'm going to take the Pearson assessment. I'm going to be reading the questions out loud, reasoning through them, may take some time to research, and you can watch and participate in that process. I want to bring you up close and personal. So I'm going to do it more as a webinar. It won't necessarily be live, but if you're on the email list, you'll get the webinar link. You'll know how to participate. So no worries with that at all. If you're out in Facebook world or YouTube world or Instagram and you do not have the link, no worry. If you're not on the email list, if you're not getting emails from me, you should be getting something each day from me. Then just email me, Borton Institute at gmail.com. Ooh. It is Borton Institute at gmail.com. If you need anything from me, any study materials, anything that you may have missed, I don't mind sending you materials for day 1, 2, 3. If you missed those, and tomorrow we'll do an up close webinar and I'll bring you in. I'll probably bring several people on screen with me at once and we'll talk through the exam together. We'll rationalize the exam together. And if we finish, we'll see what my score is. Thank goodness I've been certified for a while. They can't take my certification. But I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. So I'm excited about it. So we'll do that together tomorrow. If you're on tomorrow, it may run a little bit longer because we'll be discussing. I'll have people on the screen with me. So we may go over the usual 45 minutes to an hour that we do. So I just want to give you a heads up on that. We may run a little long tomorrow, but that's why I'm going to let you go a little early today. See, a little early today. So a little give and take, But you are not turning off the computer and going to bed. You're going to pull out your materials. You're going to finish your reading on disproportionality. You're going to finish your reading on the competencies, reading through assessments, looking at the study guide, purchase the video, watch the rest of this video if you choose to. Also, the exam prep is on the website, www.thebortoninstitute. If you would like to do do the exam prep course that we have available to you, that can also be found at www.thebortoninstitute.com. All right. Any questions, friends, before we log out and you log out to go study? Any questions? No. All right. It sounds good. I will email you at one point tomorrow with the webinar link so that you can come up close and personal and be ready for me to pull a couple of you on screen and we're going to take the Pearson practice exam together. It'll be fun. Okay? I enjoy y'all so much. Thank you for everything. If you need anything, just email me and let me know. Okay? Have a good night. Don't go to bed. Go study. All right? Have a good night, friends. Bye.